can make it to get over to FaceTime before it, auto hung up on you. And then it suddenly just slid over, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Thank the heavens.
Thank the heavens. Adam. Cody didn't have to call me again. I don't know why I said Adam.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I didn't see your text about what time does everybody want to go.
I figured no one did.
Now. I assumed that Paige had to work today, so I figured we weren't doing dinner. We're doing it for dinner anyway.
Nope, she's off.
She's off.
Yep.
So I'm good with dinner, especially if Taj wants to go and gives him some time.
What time you want to do it?
5 o'clock, 5:30 would be fine with me.
Okay.
Maybe today I pick you guys up. I don't know.
Shit.
Maybe.
Get to ride in the Yeep?
Yeah, right? It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. It's quite a different vehicle.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's different from what you've been driving.
Yeah. Driving a 2008 Kia Spectre for the past 10 plus years, and then for the past month a truck, which I was just getting used to driving, and then this is quite a bit different from the truck even itself. Just the hybrid aspect of it with the regenerative braking. I was just like, oh God, why is it slowing down all of a sudden? Take your foot off the gas and it just has this aggressive I'm stopping. But then it doesn't fully stop. Once it gets to an almost stop, it kicks off the electric and then it just starts gliding forward easily. And I was like, oh, I got to get used to that.
Yeah.
But we can talk about it more later. It was a whole process that I don't ever want to do again.
Yeah, it's a fun little jaunt through your sanity.
Yeah, there was give and take. I didn't get exactly what I was hoping a roundabout for. So I'm paying a little bit more than what I would have wanted, but that's just because everything that I was kind of looking for roundabout for was heading that way, and then I went into financing, and financing was literally no bank will finance you unless you get a 3-year warranty on it, and so I just got blindsided with that, and it was just fuck. Doesn't hurt too bad, but it was just I wasn't prepared for this. I fucking hate not being prepared for these things.
Yeah, buddy.
But we can talk about that more later.
Hell yeah, dog.
Any articles that you had interesting that you saved this week?
No.
Yeah, I'm looking at, I think, the two, was it from this past week? One says a week ago, so that was just Fallout officially gets renewed for Season 2.
Hell yeah, dog.
That's it. There's nothing else to talk about with that. I don't think that, even in the article, that they listed a when can we expect Season 2 type thing. Doesn't look like it. And the only other thing was talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. A list of Easter eggs, I guess.
Okay.
In it, 15 different things here. You're going to know more about some of these than I am. The first one they list, and this is from BuzzFeed, by the way. Cassandra Nova is the main villain. I'm not really sure who she exactly is, but she's apparently
Charles Xavier's twin sister.
Twin sister, exactly. So I didn't know that. That's apparently a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's an Easter egg, but whatever.
I mean,
it explains a little
not
bit more of the
an Easter egg, but yeah.
Shows off her powers is number 2. Again, the number 3 was interesting because I didn't catch it in the trailer, even though I've watched the trailer twice. You see, she's coming out of a giant skull, and for some reason, I suppose it's just because they just flip through things real fast, and I'm not one of those people that pauses and.
It was Ant-Man's corpse. Well, Giant Man's corpse, technically.
Well, it says Ant-Man here, but yeah, giant Ant-Man's corpse is who she's walking out of, which then immediately reminds me of. So does this, I guess, take place in an Old Man Logan type universe?
Yes, sir.
thing,
That's what that
which I'm
means.
totally okay with.
Especially if there's a spider buggy and a blind
Blind
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Fuck yeah, dog.
So I'm super excited about that. Number four is that the callback scene, the scene where Deadpool walks in on Logan in a bar, is a callback to another scene from a previous X-Men movie. Again, no big deal there.
First class, right?
This one's a little bit hard to see, but I guess I can see what they're saying. So the same scene with Nova walking out of Ant-Man's head. Uh, Apparently, let's see. It says there are multiple villains, X-Men villains outside of Ant-Man's corpse. One of them is the Russian from The Punisher. So I guess if you're looking at that picture of like a bunch of villains standing outside of the Ant-Man's corpse, you have Lady Deathstrike, Azazel, Pyro, Toad, and Callisto, and the super buff guy to the right of Azazel looks like Kevin Nash as the Russian from The Punisher, is what it says. It's kind of blurry, but like if you get a bigger picture of it, I can see what they're saying, what they're seeing here. But even from that description, I didn't know that all those people would be in it. Closer shots of the picture, which does totally, like, it might not actually be Kevin Nash, but the striped shirt and the general look of him does look like the Russian from The Punisher.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. Number 6, Iron Man logo makes a sneaky appearance on the top of, or is the what do they call it, the hood ornament of a what type of car is that? If you blink and you miss it, there's an Iron Man logo on the top of the classic car being driven by a mysterious character. It says RDJ, is that you? This resembles the car Tony Stark was working on in the original Iron Man, although some believe it could also be Red Skull's car from Captain America, which is what it looks. It looks more stylized to me because it looks like more of that like Rolls-Roycean type thing. Yeah. Number 7, Alioth from Loki devours a scene. I never finished season. I never even actually started season 2 of Loki, so I only got a glimpse of this character and didn't even think of it while watching. Again, during this trailer, it was like more of a flash and it's gone type thing. But when you pause it and you see like, okay, that's Ant-Man's giant body right there, and that is that thing from the end of season 1 of Loki, or maybe mid-season. It's been a while since I watched it, and I'm sure it made a bigger presence in season 2. I don't know exactly what it is, so maybe you can enlighten me on what it is. Is it like a Langolier type thing, correcting?
Yeah, basically it's the entity they feed variants to.
Okay, so apparently that makes an appearance in this movie.
I mean,
the one I pointed out to you when I first, like, this was the first thing that I saw when I watched the trailer the first time, is number 8, the Liefeld's Just Feet store.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's fucking hilarious. For those of you who don't know, Rob Liefeld is the person who created Deadpool, right? And he's notorious for not being able to draw feet.
Very notorious.
So in a lot of, if I recall right, because I haven't read a lot of the original stuff and or a lot of his stuff, he tends to hide feet, so he doesn't have to draw them. So just to have a store that says Liefeld's Just Feet in there is pretty hilarious. Number 9, this Copperhead's logo alludes to a random villain and potential crossover. So I saw this logo and I thought it probably did mean something, but I never looked it up. It says here, we also see a bar named Copperhead's in the sequence. That's the sequence where Deadpool and Wolverine are walking out into this like destroyed city streets. Copperhead is a pretty random villain from Marvel Comics. A couple of people use the alias, but Davis Loffers is the most popular. This could be a hint that Copperhead, excuse me, will appear in the film, and he has battled Spider-Man before. Says, "Ooh, my spidey sense is tingling." Ugh, God. Not to mention, Copperhead is a member of the Serpent Society, a crew of villains rumored to be in Captain America: Brave New World.
Who Seth Rollins, or Colby Lopez of WWE fame, is supposed to be part of in that movie, by the way.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Yep.
This number 10, they say, was just an accident in a tweet, but I don't believe in accidents. Madonna's Like a Prayer was what was playing during the trailer. Trailer was dropped on April 22nd, which apparently was the day that Like a Prayer actually was released back in 1989. According to Ryan Reynolds, he says, "I swear to Marvel Jesus, we did not plan this," but I kind of doubt that. It sounds like something that he would intentionally put in there.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Number 11, there is a section of the scene where we see our two titular heroes, jumping through what looks like a magical portal. So are we going to get some sort of Doctor Strange type character? Are we going to get Doctor Strange in it? Time will tell. But that was an interesting thing to see. Number 12 was just that they use a comic accurate sleeveless Wolverine at one point. That's not really an Easter egg. Like, a lot of these are just not Easter eggs, but whatever.
They're definitely references more than Easter eggs.
Exactly. I didn't see this. I didn't catch this, but again, it's just a quick thing. Apparently, they show a scene where Deadpool is like hugging and kissing a dog, and everyone's saying that it looks like Dogpool.
It is Dogpool. Yeah, they've confirmed it already.
They confirmed it? Okay.
It's a variant of Wade Wilson in the universe where they're all dogs.
Yeah, which is pretty hilarious that they're including it. Two more left here. Smile and Say Cheese is... Smile, Wait for the Flash is what is written on the end of Deadpool's gun there, which I thought was pretty funny. And number 15 is the 20th Century Fox logo is destroyed in one of the scenes there. Oh, actually, there's a couple more here. I thought it went to 15.
Yeah, it's
in the same scene
where
they're saying that there's a boat that kind of looks like the Titanic. It doesn't look anything like the Titanic to me, but they're referencing the fact that we have a destroyed Fox logo, and I think the Titanic was a Fox production.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. So they're linking something there. I don't think it looks like the Titanic. It just looks like a generic boat to me. And this is the final one. I didn't know this because I'm not as big into these characters and whatnot as other people's are. But it says we get an interesting peek at mass graves in Wolverine's world. Deadpool hints that Wolverine's world went to shit, and we get a scene where Logan is walking by what appears to be enormous gravestones.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what this connects into the comics, but I'm excited to see where it goes, what it says on the article. So I didn't know that those were gravestones.
Yeah, it's from is it Old Man Logan or is it?
See, I don't recall. I've read Old Man Logan. I don't recall that. But then again, like, the stylization between the comic and the movie might be different.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was that one. Yeah, but basically it's showing that when he
went berserk
and killed everybody, those are the gravestones that were left behind, left in the wake of it, and so he gets to see them and stuff like that.
Overgeneralization of what happened. It's been a while since I've read since I've read Old Man Logan, and it's really cool that it feels like they are leaning more heavy into that comic in this, because it is a fantastic, just like, what if Wolverine, he didn't really go berserk, but what he was like under some sort of mind influence that he thought he was killing the Sinister Six, and he was actually killing all the X-Men and more characters and whatnot, and then the villains now took over, and this takes place hundreds of years or something like that after the fall of all the heroes, and then Red Skull basically takes up DC and a certain area, and then the United States is divvied up between certain uh, villain factions.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the basic plot of Old Man Logan, and because Wolverine is basically hard to kill, he just takes it as a pretty hard as one would imagine, and just leaves. Goes and lives off the land where he can with his family. I can't remember who he was with in there. But then when given the opportunity to set things straight, him and Hawkeye go from one coast to the other to basically try and put things right, if I recall right.
Yeah, well, basically just free, like basically get the essentially the tools that they've been using to make themselves more powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's so funny that they chose Cassandra Nova, because so it's from the Grant Morrison Frank Quietly run,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very bizarre. I mean, it's Grant Morrison, so it's gonna be fucking weird in general.
Yes.
But Cassandra Nova is the twin sister of Xavier, Charles Xavier,
Mm-hmm.
and when they were in the womb, Charles is one of the X-Men mutants. I can't really say X-Men because he's not technically, but he's one of the mutants that has his abilities were from birth, he didn't grow into them, but he had this ability, obviously the telepathy and things like that, and he could sense the pure evil that it was in his sister, so he kills her in the womb, and so she's born a stillborn. She's dead. And then this parasite that's basically like this psychic leech basically gets into her, and she grows up away from everything, but she's real fucking evil.
Mm-hmm.
And it amplifies her powers and all sorts of weird shit. So I don't know if they're gonna go into that, but that's kind of where she comes from.
It's one of those things that why not? You're already going this far into some of the weirdest, most somewhat effed up comics anyway. Might as well go full bore.
Yeah, and I believe my theory at least is that she's in the trailer making it seem like she's the big bad, but really I think she's just a red herring. I think the TVA is ultimately the villain of the movie.
Yeah.
And they're trying to use Deadpool and Wolverine to trim timelines.
Okay.
A la what they kind of did with Loki, but didn't really work out so well. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen season 1 all the way through and season 2.
Oh, okay. Now I can put my hand back up.
But yeah, so I don't know how it's gonna go through, but it just seems like it's way too. I mean, you have Deadpool, who is damn near indestructible. You have Wolverine, who's damn near indestructible. You might as well use those tools to eliminate as much as possible and trim those little problem childs that are out there.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think one of the I can't remember where it was that someone pointed out, but the fight scene you see in the trailer where Wolverine stabs Wade in the dick, and they're wrestling, and then at one point
Wade shoots
him in the sides and whatever. Later in the trailer, you actually see the suit still has damage to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's multiple bullet holes, and I guess someone pointed out that Deadpool has a bloody crotch in a couple different scenes, and I was like, that's pretty fucking funny.
That's pretty fucking funny. It's not something I'm staring at, so I didn't even think about that.
And I was like, oh, I need to look that up. But yeah, so so the rumor, one of the rumors is we're gonna see variants of both Logan and Deadpool. That's why you see Dogpool at one point.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new rumor that says that Lady Deadpool will make a appearance and it'll be played by Taylor Swift.
No way.
Yeah, so she's rumored to be in it. A lot of people think she was going to be Dazzler
I mean, that would
in
make
the
more
X-Men.
sense to me.
Yeah, but knowing Ryan, having her show up as a foul-mouthed Lady Deadpool would probably be pretty spectacular.
It would probably make a little bit more sense too, not knowing how that they would play with the Dazzler character, but I would assume that would be a bit more than just maybe spending a day there. Yeah,
Yeah,
this would be much more like in Deadpool 2, where it's like Brad Pitt's in this movie.
yeah,
Like Brad Pitt's not in this movie. I've been watching this. Oh my god, that was him for a split second.
yep,
So he shows up on set for like a day type thing. So I could definitely see her busy schedule and whatnot. It honestly would be more funny to me to see her as a character that you wouldn't expect her to be,
yeah,
as a foul mouthed, female version of Deadpool. So yeah, I'm okay with it.
yeah. And then Hugh Jackman gets to play. Again, these are all rumors. Appears as three different versions of Logan in this. He appears as the one we see in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
the old man Logan version. Shows up as the cloned version of himself from X-Men,
Okay.
and then shows up as Patches,
Patches.
the one with the eye patch that plays poker. Because there's a scene in the original teaser that you see someone walking up to a table playing poker, and there's a gentleman in a white jacket,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe it's from Days of Future Past. What book
Okay,
was that
that's
in?
why I don't really recognize it. I've never read any of those comics, and I never saw
Yeah,
those movies.
he's got a name, but people refer to him as Patches.
Gotcha.
But it's a like a alter ego for that version of Logan.
Okay.
I can't remember what his name was. But yeah, so there's lots of that floating around, but I thought it was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. But yeah, I can't wait for this movie.
It's gonna be pretty fun.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're able to see it when it comes out. We'll see what happens.
Oh, we'll see it when it comes out. This is gonna be one of those kind of have to go. Plus, Paige is super excited about it because potentially having Taylor Swift on screen just makes her super giddy. But also, she loves the Deadpool movies.
Mm-hmm.
And she giggled so hard during that fucking trailer. Every time they're like, "Let's fucking go," and she's like, "I can't believe they're saying this so many times." I'm like, Kevin Feige came out at CinemaCon and said, "Hey, fuck it, let's go," and like, or let's fucking go, and like everyone's like, "Why is he doing this?" Like he's allowing to be like using so many curse words. Like there's a I can't remember who it was. Someone has a fuck counter
Oh,
that
really?
they basically reran the trailer, and then every time it pops up it like goes up, but it's like the it looks like the X-Men logo. I'll see if I can find it. I'll send it to you. But it's like the X-Men logo. It's like it has the X, but instead of the X it's an F, and it just
Okay.
keeps counting up. It's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and I was like, that's pretty good. And I can't remember what the number was, but it's staggering. It's like 18 or 19 times they drop the F bomb in it.
It's not a very long trailer too. So.
Yeah, it's like 2.5
funny.
minutes, and they
Right.
drop it more than anything else. And it's funny too because like at the end of the trailer, it still says this film is not rated, and I was like,
No, it has to be rated at this point.
I mean, this trailer tells me right now it's R. Like I
Mhm.
know it probably hasn't officially gone through the rating system yet.
But they ain't taking this stuff out. I'm guessing.
Yeah, dude, it's just too prolific in there to be like something where like, oh, we'll just skip over it. We can cut that out in the last edit.
Cut it out. They'd have to remove like 45 minutes of the movie. Probably.
Right?
The world's shortest movie all of a sudden.
Just ridiculous, dude.
Seriously. That's all I had for this week. I suppose now we can talk about something else that I know you've been wanting to talk about. I don't know if anybody else has finished this show. I went and I watched the first two episodes,
Not enough of them.
like last week or the week before or whatever it was. It must have been last week sometime. And then yesterday I was just like, I'm just gonna start watching this again, and then I ended up finishing the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
It's only 8 episodes long. So
what is it,
wasn't
Joe?
Too hard. It is Fallout.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, it was really good. To say the very least of it.
Yeah, that's definitely say the least
really
of it.
Good. I loved, because they don't really stick too much. They don't stick to any real story from any of the games. It's not one single game told in a different medium form.
That's the idea.
It's the idea of it, but then that's the idea of all the Fallouts. They're not really connected to each other. They're just
It's not a linear story
by the world that they are in. So just to have this be the same thing, and you get a little bit more of like how things happened, or how things ended up that way. Because in all the Fallout games that I've ever played, which were 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4, are the only ones that I've played. Never finished 4 though. Anyway.
Because 4 is fucking long as hell, and you can get sidetracked real fucking easy in that game.
Well, I think the problem that I had with 4 is because 4 really leaned into the settlement system.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I don't want to do this, guys. This is not what I'm here to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I got bored of doing that, and I just never went back to it. But I love that when you start out this series, one of the first scenes, if not the first scene that you get, is her sitting in front of that panel of 3 people, and she's going over her stats, which is literally how you basically start every Fallout game, is assigning your stats. And she's talking about strength, and she's talking about agility and this and that. And I'm just like, it's fucking hilarious that how you were able to incorporate like these weird things that you have to have in a game or in an RPG in order to level up your character. You somehow found a way to put that into the show as well, and that goes for a lot of things throughout the series. You have the what are they called, the stim packs.
Stim packs, yep.
You know, literally just a trope in a video game in order to give yourself more health. And they don't use it a whole lot, but they do use them, and they look like stim packs when somebody needs to heal themselves, injecting it into them. Or even Radaway at one point is literally an IV pack. Or I'm trying to remember some of the other stuff. Jet something or other, like the steam thing that stimulates you, makes you faster and whatnot.
Yep.
So many little things like that throughout the series, and just the way that they that's just how this world is, and we just work it in there is so cool. And then every little thing, because our main character, spoiler alert from here, I would suppose, is that the main story is much like every other every other Fallout game, with the exception maybe the first 2, because I haven't played those, is literally, something happens and you have to like go after your father, or go after, this or that.
There's a reason your character has to go outside.
There's a reason why your character has to go outside, and so that's what we happen here is raiders come in and they kidnap our main character's father, and she goes out there to try and find him. And what I love is that along the way, she encounters so many things that are just like, yes, I would totally encounter this situation like this in a game, and suddenly I'm off doing something else.
Yep.
Rather than trying to rescue my father. Or I would encounter something that would be like, no, in order to progress your main story, now you have to go off and do this other weird thing, uh, which is really awesome. And there's just so many like that is such a Fallout thing to do. So many like they encounter these two people on a bridge, her and the what's his name from the he went by Titus the whole entire time, so I can't remember his actual name. It was Max or something like that. Encounter those two people on the bridge, that ends up in a shootout. And he's like, no, there's cannibals. And it's like, that is a very like Fallout thing, just a quick little encounter. But all the way up to the whole like, in that scene he gets shot. They happen upon another vault, so they go into that vault and everything looks so awesome and cheery and blah blah blah. And then he gets suspicious of it because it doesn't feel right. But then he falls into this like, no, this is a great place. And then she starts getting suspicious of all the weird mutations that she's seeing there, and starts investigating things and finding out that things are a little bit more fucked up. The live birth piranha thing was, what the fuck was that? So you're led down that road of this being one of those weird fucked up vaults that you see in Fallout games, where you just run across a vault and you find out that every vault character is a Gary because he found a way to clone himself, and all he does is sit there and shout Gary and try and kill everybody in there. Gary. And then it comes around where she got captured, and it looks like they're going to decapitate her. It looks like they're going to execute her.
So funny, dude.
Because they even show a scene of like a sacrificial ritual that they're talking about during that, just before that that whole sequence, and they're making it look like they're about to kill her. They're making it look like our other dude is going to steal the whatchamacallit core in order to power his suit in order to save her. Core. And then when the overseer just takes that hatchet and just starts slowly cutting away at the leather strap that's binding her, and it's just like, all right, that's your execution, is that you have to go out on the surface. And she's just like, wait, you're just letting me go? And he's like, well, yeah, but you're going to die up on the surface. But not for 2 weeks, because here's 2 weeks supply of all the stuff. You see like the Nuka-Cola, Quantum, I think it even is, and a bunch of supplies and stuff like that. And even she's just like, what? What's going on here? Like, it's such those things all throughout this series are such Fallout things that would happen in the games. You run into the stuff that is so effed up that you don't know what to trust in this world, and then you run into this thing that looks really effed up on the surface, but actually turns out to be not so bad, but still kind of weird, and you're just like, I don't know what to do or believe anymore. And that was what was so great about it.
You gotta roll with it, buddy.
You gotta roll with it,
because you never know what's gonna happen in the wasteland.
Nope. And even the ending felt very much like a Fallout ending, because your main character finally makes it to where she's going, which is the den of the
Raiders.
The Raiders that she was chasing, only to find out that basically they were trying to get a hold of a power source that could give unlimited free energy to the people of the surface. And so you have that, like, it just reminds me right away of I think it was Fallout 3, where you have the water purification system at the end that you have to activate, and that's what it exactly felt like at the end of the show there. But then I kept wondering how they were going to, like, this feels like, and we're done. It feels encapsulated, up until the last scene or so of the show, where they're like, okay, no, the guy, basically one of the guys responsible for all of this, literally encompassing all of the nukes being dropped and whatnot, is getting away. And now we have this weird team up between a character who, when I thought he was the ghoul, when I thought he was introduced, would be a hero character, but then when you watch the show, you're like, no, he's not a hero character, but he slowly turns into more of an anti-hero character, teams up with now our our main character Lucy, or Goosey as she kept being called in that one vault, which I was fucking thought was hilarious. No, it's Lucy. No, it says here it's Goosey. But puts on the two glasses and he only has one eye. And it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's a cool indication of like what season 2 will be like. You know, they're now chasing after the people who are responsible for the destruction of the world, because they were just chasing profit and
not just the destruction
science.
of the world, but the redestruction of the world, because her
That's
dad
right, because
dropped the nukes on
because it turns out that
Pleasant Sands.
no, it was
What's it called?
oh shit, I just saw it too. Something Hills? No.
I can't remember. Basically the reformed and surviving fucking city.
Yeah.
All because his wife was there.
Mm-hmm.
That dude got problems.
But beyond that, for me, like, for some reason, and I think I've said this again, I don't know if it's because of the faster internet that we have, or just the better quality of the way that they're streaming, that Amazon is able to stream this. The show looked absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It was colorful where it needed to be colorful. It was bleak and brown and earth colored where it needed to be. Just everything looked destroyed, but still had that kind of like weird poppiness to it because of the fall, because of Vault Tech and this and that. Had always had like the cartoon character thumbs up. They even kind of give an explanation of where that comes from. Sound was absolutely fantastic. Just every once in a while you would just have like that 1950s music type kick in, and you're just like, what the hell am I listening to while this is going on?
Yep.
So,
it was
I
awesome.
thoroughly enjoyed it.
And of course,
I couldn't even name, like, if we were sitting there saying, what's my favorite scene of this, I couldn't give you one, because there's just so many that the scenes that were so good.
I just think it was cool that they actually kind of showed us the VAT system too, in the shootout at Philly, and I was like, that's fucking cool.
Right, I totally forgot that they included that in there too.
Yeah. What do you think about the reveal at the end of where her dad was headed?
Where was her dad headed?
It's a very major location.
I'm trying to remember. I was a little bit tired when I was watching that last night.
New Vegas.
New Vegas. Oh yeah, they showed the picture of it, and I was sitting there going, I know what that is. I don't remember what that is. It's also, I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
And they show the sign.
They show the sign? I missed the sign then.
Because you can see the background. It obviously has the overall architecture of Vegas, and then you see the sign, and it's got lost spray painted over with new. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, New Vegas. That's why last week when we were talking about it, and I didn't want to spoil stuff, like the fact that like dog meat didn't die.
Yeah, which I thought was weird. I swear to God, there were a couple of times in this where I was like, am I watching this out of order? Did something just happen? Because I thought dog meat was dead.
No, because the ghoul fixed him up.
But I must have missed it or something. I don't know.
You took too long watching from when that happened to everyone else, so your brain doesn't skip it or just skipped over it. But yeah, so in the what was I saying before?
Vegas. You're talking about New Vegas.
Oh yeah. So I didn't want to spoil anything last week talking about it, because people were like commenting like, oh, so what's gonna be the story of this? I'm like, no, you guys got to pay attention to the timeline, because this is New Vegas after what took place in the game.
Okay, so this is after.
Yeah, because New Vegas in the actual timeline happens before the show does.
Okay. So
we get an all new version of New Vegas under new rule.
That's cool. I wonder which way they'll go then.
Well, I mean, her dad is headed there, which makes me think that it's under Vault Tech control.
Okay.
Because why would he go there? I mean, other than the fact that it's kind of an outlawish place, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But he's not exactly going to be the most popular person when they find out who he is.
Oh,
If they
right?
find out who he is. But also he has a set of power armor, so I mean that's pretty handy.
Just missing the helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a classic thing that happens with some of the characters in the world when they get power armor.
Roam around with no helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were talking about, what all this stuff, and I was like, but
is that the thing that people were complaining about might ruin the whole timeline of?
Yeah.
Because I stayed away from those spoilers. I just knew that people were complaining like, oh, that ruins the timeline of blah 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 blah. And it's like, now that I finish it, and you mentioned that it is New Vegas, it's like, wait, is that what people think are ruining the timeline?
Yeah, because they don't understand that this is like where this takes place in in everything. We're not like for example in Fallout 76, you are literally coming out of a vault right after everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very fresh. There is no there's no factions really. There's none of that stuff. Where in 3 and 4, you're coming out a couple hundred years later, and humanity is basically fallen back into the same norms, and built factions and battle each other and try to steal from one another instead of actually making a better world out of it, which is what Vault-Tec sort of wanted, but also they didn't really care. But the people were complaining because in New Vegas you have all these different endings, but they are all depending on how you play it. But if you go by the default ending, that's where they're going through. And then Todd Howard and Jonathan Nolan came out and basically said, yes, New Vegas is canon. But what does that mean? That means the standard ending is the actual thing. But I can't remember how many years it's been, but it's been 100-something years.
But then that just makes sense. And why? I guess people will just complain to complain.
Yeah, people are
that
fucking
just makes sense
stupid.
to me. Especially when you have something that has an open ending to it, where you have multiple endings. If you're going to even make a sequel to it, you have to pick an ending that goes with it.
Yeah, I mean,
no, not very many games try and play off of what you previously did. They usually, when they do sequels like that, they're just like, no, this is what happened. Because I think all the Witcher games have been like that. They don't really fully base the beginning of the new game off of what happened in the old game. There are some choices I know in Witcher 3 that you had to answer and carry over, but they don't play off of exactly what happens in the previous game.
Yeah, and the whole thing is they, unlike I always like this example. So God of War, they literally just have to write into the reason why he doesn't have the abilities he had in the previous game.
Yeah.
By being stripped by so and so, and now he has to fight his way through it. I'm like, that's basically just a cop out because you made him so powerful at the end of the first one, and you need him to be
the same way.
Yeah, exactly. It's oh yeah, this suit's super cool, but also it's not good it can't be in this kind of toxic air, and so it breaks down or whatever happens to be, and things like that. It's that's just them having to find a way to make it continue on without you being a super god. You know what I mean? And same thing they did it in Destiny 2, where took away the light, and so you didn't have your powers and whatever, and then you had to get them, but because you had new powers and they're not the same, whatever. But it's in this, we're not playing the character from New Vegas.
Yeah. That
character's probably dead.
Probably.
So and things happen people evolve, or we're gonna grow as humans and subhumans and things like that, and so Vegas is gonna be changing, but it's still this beacon in the middle of the wasteland of kind of lawlessness and stuff. My question is, are we gonna get some kind of voice cameo from Ron Perlman?
Which would be great. They already said the famous line.
Yeah, so he is the narrator from New Vegas, so I want something, even if it's him saying "Welcome to New Vegas" or something, when they get there or something, which is all I really need.
which is be just great.
Yeah.
Speaking of voices, in one of the last episodes, I thought it was funny. You probably don't watch the show Crapopolis on it's on Fox. I watched it on Hulu, so I don't remember what it is.
Is that the one with Danny Pudi and
Yes.
oh, what is the name of that guy? It's a British guy. He's super funny. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the characters in that is a manticore, uh, who has a very particular look about him. Anyway, he in episode 7 or 8 or whatever it was, they have a I can't remember who it is, but basically we're now back in the past. We're talking about uh, they're going over Walton Goggins' character in the past, and he encounters a guy sitting by the pool, and the guy's talking to him like, "Dude, wait, that's the voice actor from Crapopolis.
Yeah,
That's awesome."
that's like
And
I'm
then they
talking
show
about.
a picture of him, and I'm like, it's not only the voice actor, the character in Crapopolis looks literally like him, and I'm like,
Yeah,
that is fucking hilarious. Oh yeah, it was the episode where again another Fallout thing happens where she gets traded to these people over at the whatever mart,
yeah,
and thinks that she's being healed up, but then turns out that she's just going to be harvested for organs, and then ends up just killing everybody, and the releasing feral ghouls inside of the thing, and it's just like, God, this is just a Fallout thing, like just another random side quest that you end up on that is just a straight effed up scenario in a wasteland Fallout type thing. That was hilarious.
yeah, because he
But he
plays
played the voice of the robot,
Mr. Handy, right?
Mr. Handy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool, just as a voice actor or
Oh,
a
God,
voice type of thing.
what is his fucking name? It's gonna drive me insane.
Are you looking up Crapopolis?
Uh, I was going to. I don't think Danny Pudi's in it. Why does that not pull it up? I went to Danny Pudi's because I couldn't remember how to spell.
I could swear that he played the. Oh, it's Richard Ayoade that plays Tyrannus. That's who I was thinking. He's the king.
Yeah, I love that guy too.
Where is it? Matt Berry.
Matt, there you go. Yeah.
Matt Berry is
Yeah.
Who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I would have
He's
thought
fantastic.
it was Danny Pudi as well, but I guess it's not. Oh, Joel McHale is in the show as well. It
I wouldn't doubt
doesn't
it.
list who his character is, so I don't know. Good show. At least I think it is. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of things from it. Made me laugh quite a bit. Let's see. Guest stars. Where is Matt Berry? There's Matt Berry. I love Matt Berry because he was in the It Crowd, the British version, not the American
Okay.
version. And he's fantastic in that because he's, great. But he was in a lot of those shows like the Gareth. What do they call it? It's the hospital one, Dark Place. He was in Mighty Boosh, bunch of different things. But he's fantastic. I love him in everything he's in, that I see him in at least. But yeah, when I heard Mr. Handy first, I was like, "Oh shit, that's him! That's so fucking cool!" And then he shows up at that party with Walter Goggins' character, and I was like, "Oh, this is exciting!" Because it's basically him like talking about how he signed off his voice rights to be used in this robot that's going to be in everyone's house, and I was like,
Which I thought was funny too, because Goggins'
Great.
character was like, "Oh, you probably got like 10 million for that," and he was like, "No, I got 100-something thousand." And when I asked for more, they said that they would just throw in a version of Mr. Handy. So now I've got my own voice just talking to me.
"Yeah."
So good. So good. And I can't wait for season 2 at that point. Like, it was just so well done.
It was.
I would definitely say that even if you're not a Fallout video game fan, this is something that you could definitely watch. As long as you're okay with gore. That was another weird thing that I didn't expect. Like, I don't think of the games as being really that gory.
You're mistaken, sir.
Well, I just don't think of it because it's very video game. You do have when you enter in the VAT system, or you have a high-powered, weapon. guess even some of the lower power weapons, you can shoot heads off and limbs off and stuff like that. But I just,
Oh yeah,
I
dog.
guess I'm quote unquote desensitized to that. I don't really see that when it happens. You know, I'm not a 20-year-old kid going, "Oh, that's cool." As I was playing, one of the first games that I really encountered that in was Soldier of Fortune, the old Soldier of Fortune games. Uh, but to see that, like, oh no, this is how it would look in real life, and it's just like, damn. Like, I'm not a person. I've always said that I don't like gore for the sake of gore, and I don't really think this is, because it makes sense within, like, somebody shoots somebody with a shotgun from 2 feet away, you're gonna blow a limb off or something like that. Or
Oh yeah, dog.
some cases where the power armor just like grabs that dude by the head and you just go squish like a melon. It's like, wow, you really showed that. You
Hell
really
yeah,
showed
dude.
that.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Might as well.
So just be prepared for stuff like that. But I could definitely say that this is definitely something that I can see that somebody who might not be too much into the games could enjoy it, and then a person who is into those games could really enjoy it because of all the little things that you get along the way.
Yeah, the way I looked at it is they did a good job of balancing it, and where they had everything that you could imagine you need to make it a Fallout world,
Mm-hmm.
but you also like, it seems light on a lot of it, so they're not delving into too much of like why they use caps as money. I'm sure they'll expand on the factions quite a bit more, but they kind of left it as like it's just in the world. You don't need to know why they use caps or things like that. They just kind of pinpointed more of like, this is why this character is doing what they're doing. They're not like, hey, this is why Philly's called Philly. This is why blah blah blah. You know, they're not really doing that. They're just like throwing in there, and then you're just supposed to enjoy it. And so if you know more about it, you understand it, but you don't need to understand it to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was why it's like they did a very good job of like making this very, very well balanced on, hey, these are fresh new people, and then these are like, you know, hardcore Fallout fans.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. Plus, I mean, I really hope when the part of and it's not a storyline from New Vegas. I think it was from 4, where you're basically on a race. You kind of join up. I think it's the Brotherhood of Steel faction mission. You're basically like trying to secure the launch codes for a nuke before anybody else does. And I think one of the options you have in it is to like launch the nuke.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dang, I really hope that's something they do. Like,
right. It
Cause like,
sounds like something that they would do.
yeah, because like the Brotherhood of Steel gets a hold of the the cold fusion at the end, so it's like they now have an unlimited power source that they can essentially make all the fusion cores they want without having to, you know, it's a very hard to come by thing, so they're very covenanted, and they don't have enough to make tons of power armor because it's limited on how much energy they have.
Yeah.
So now they have unlimited energy, but it's like, I guess that takes place in the nuke, but like also like you don't want anybody having a nuke because you can have all the power you want in the world, but a nuke's still gonna level the playing field.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fun one. But yeah, I was like, ah, man, that's so cool.
Speaking of nukes, I wonder if they'll introduce mini nukes at some point.
Yeah, I like the what was it called? The not, was it Big Daddy?
Didn't they name it Fat Boy?
The
After-
gun. Oh, is the gun
Yeah.
Fat Boy?
I want to say the gun was something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It's been a while. Yeah, I just remember the first time I ever had one. In I want to say it was in Fallout 4 is when I experienced it. I was like, yes, dude, there's a super mutant. I'm gonna fuck that dude up. And right as I went to shoot it, I was in Vat's mode because I want to do the whole like follow the thing. A creature jumped up in front of it, right in front of me as I shot, and blew me up. And I was like,
all I just need is a scene like that.
Damn
just because that's how those things worked. Like, it wasn't never a precision thing.
No,
Which, by the way, I'm running across two different things. One called a nuke launcher, and then one called Fat Man.
Fat Man, yeah. Fat Man is the one that's basically just like
Oh, it is a Fat Man.
yeah,
Nuke launcher is a Fat Man. Yeah, so it is Fat Man.
yeah, and it's basically just a rail with a slide
Mm-hmm.
that like yeets a miniature nuclear bomb.
Big Boy was a unique version of the two-shot legendary effect Fat Man. And apparently there was also the Striker, which was a unique version that fires modified bowling balls of mini nukes.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I remember the Big Boy, because I think you get it from one of the missions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember like the first time I ever went to fire it. I have there's like this tower and these people are like cowering up there or something, and there's a super mutant tearing around. And I was like, that super mutant's gonna fucking get it.
Mm-hmm.
And because Fallout has real, actual in-game physics that happen, I went into the VAT system, targeted his chest, shot it, but as I shot, I don't know if it was a rad roach or something jumped up when I activated VATS and I didn't see it. So when it cuts to it, he's in my line of fire,
Mm-hmm.
and I hit him, and it just blows me up, and I was like,
Yeah, I just
bitch.
remember using it for the first time and being a little too close.
Oh yeah,
A little
that'll
too
happen
close
too. Yeah, I've done that too.
to because I realized it's a mini nuke, but like how many is it? Like how close do you have to be? I think I launched it at either one of the big mutants or one of the death claws. I can't remember which one it was.
Either
I was,
one's a great choice to use it on.
testing it out on, and yeah, I was standing a little too close
Yeah.
to it. Yeah, may have killed myself there.
Oh, I definitely killed myself several times with
So
the
I could
mini
definitely
nukes.
it'd be fun to see that somebody like testing it out, or like they're doing like recruits or something like that, and they're just like, yo, here's a mini nuke, blah blah blah, and you just see somebody accidentally shoot it too close and just nuke themselves,
I could almost see that being like a.
or maybe like an end game thing.
I could almost see that
Like
being like a
towards,
Brotherhood of Steel, like sub faction or something. Like just
yeah,
they get a hold of it from some raiders and like we're gonna use this, and like they just fucking just nuke
they
themselves.
fuck up and accidentally kill themselves with it.
Because as we find out, the Brotherhood of Steel, they're not the most altruistic and smart people,
Nope.
which was a great way of making that more known with that first scene with the original Titus, or well, the original Titus we see. Who knows if it's the actual original Titus from before? Anyways,
Yeah,
but yeah, it was hilarious.
yeah, it was.
But yeah, so Fallout was a real good time, and I would like to see more.
Right.
I kind of wish it was longer, like I do.
Yeah, 8 episodes. I was surprised because it feels like the normal has been a little bit longer, isn't it? Like at least 10 episodes. I
10
may be
is
wrong.
usually the most shows are about 10. Yeah,
Yeah, because I may be wrong because I'm still having a few issues with finishing up episodes. And I've also been a little bit skewed because Crapopolis keeps popping up with new episodes, and they're like on season 1, episode 20 now, and I'm like, I don't know what's real anymore.
yeah. There's no going by any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember if. Hold on, let's see here. How many episodes was Invincible? Wasn't that 8 as well? Yeah.
I don't remember. I haven't watched season 2 yet.
What the fuck, Joe?
I told you, having problems.
Yeah. Season 1 is 8 episodes as well. What about The Boys?
That one's just been too long to watch. Too long ago that I don't remember.
Actually, Reacher is 8 episodes as well. Maybe that's like
I guess 8 episodes is becoming
Prime
more
is
of the
there
norm.
is fucking like let's do 8.
Was Lord of the Rings? What was that called? Was that 8 episodes?
The Boys is 8 episodes as well. What the fuck, dude? That's wild. I never realized that. Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. There we go. That strikes me as something I think was 8 episodes long. It's one of those things that that's the thing that they spent the most money on, and you were like, well, I see how you spent money on it, but like still only 8 episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking that show's expensive.
Which I don't recall. Did we ever get a season 2 confirmation for that show?
Yeah, we did.
We did? Okay.
Yeah, 8 episodes as well.
All right. I guess that's just Amazon's thing. 8 episodes. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, good. No, I was like, wait, why is it listing so much? But then it's like, these are bonus stuff. I'm like, that's title reveal and fucking 94 trailers. Anyways, yeah, so that's all I had. Not a lot.
That's all I got too.
All right, cool. That's it for this week's episode of Comes Naturally. We have been
Joe.
I've been Cody, and as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.